The Walt Disney Company's grooming agenda continues. Star Wars Celebration to feature panel about drag shows.
Thank you for this coverage from John F. Trent, by the way.
We love John
Shout
F. Trent
out.
here.
This is hilarious. The Star Wars Celebration is getting held in London, by the way.
Yeah.
I have no idea why. Like, why wouldn't it be held at one of the Disney theme parks in America?
That makes more sense to me.
Right? So they can have all of these libtard millennials stay in those $5,000 Star Wars themed suites and buy those like tens of thousands of dollars worth of Star Wars themed cocktails.
I don't think they have the space. Honestly, just the event space.
You think?
No, like I did Star Wars Celebration 2019.
How was it?
It was huge.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I did. Yeah, but I worked it. So, but it was at the largest convention center in the country.
Where was that?
Chicago, McCormick Place. It's a really big event, and it like takes over. I'm sure they do have enough space, like to be quite frank. But it's more about. It's not really a Disney thing. It's a Reed Pop Star Wars thing.
Right? Are they the same outfit that does New York Comic Con?
Yes.
Then?
Yeah, they are, and so it's there. Really, it's really theirs. Reed Pop's, whereas Disney's is D23, and like they don't want to like cross those wires.
Is this would this be something that they don't want to do it in Florida because of Ron DeSantis?
Maybe.
Is that part of it? I was wondering the same thing.
They did it in Anaheim last time, so.
But I mean, as if this story could get any worse, everyone there is going to be British.
Chris Carr would be appalled.
And they're also advertising Star Wars Celebration as a family event where you can bring your children, appropriate for all ages. Yeah. And yet a panel like this was approved. So I just want to look at the announcement from the YouTuber That Gay Jedi, first of all.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, because Jedi can totally be gay. The tweet said, I am humbled, grateful, and over the forest moons to announce that my Star Wars Celebration panel titled Star Wars is a Drag, Exploring Star Wars Through the Art of Drag has been officially approved. Can't wait to share this with you all. And wow, the blurb that they gave for this panel is just absolutely filled with word salad that makes no sense. Whether your hobby is drag or whether your hobby is Star Wars, both sides are wondering like the people who are into drag are like, what does my hobby have to do with Star Wars? And the Star Wars people are like, what does Star Wars have to do with drag?
It's what
like everyone is extremely confused.
It's what happens when like a liberal arts class studies Star Wars and they have to try to figure out a way to make it fit into the theme. I kid you not, I talked to someone once who would talk about how like dog fights were akin to sexual intercourse.
What?
And then I can't even.
The lengths these people will go in academia to legitimize their studies. It's actually insane.
And I'm talking about like Air Squadron dogfights. I'm not talking about like
dogfighting,
like the one that James Lindsay did back in the day. Like they will literally find any way to turn like a liberal arts degree into some type of word salad in which they can justify their.
So here is that word salad for you guys.
Go for it.
I'm gonna paraphrase it because this is a lot to take in. It said that drag as an art form has reached such cultural significance that the truths and concepts of drag performance permeate countless aspects of our daily lives, including Star Wars. I'd love to know what other aspects of our daily lives are permeated with drag performance.
It's the same thing that they do when they say that something causes violence, and you're like, what violence does this cause exactly?
Language doesn't mean anything
anymore. It doesn't mean anything anymore. They just say something, and you're supposed to, like, is the idea that people are just so distracted and busy? They're like, why would he say it?
That checks out.
Why would he say it if it wasn't true? That doesn't make any sense.
So anyway, I've got some taxes to pay. So this part is the craziest paragraph. They said some of Star Wars' very best characters embody various core principles of drag. Whether it's Din Djarin's drag as personal expression and self-discovery, Asajj Ventress's drag as queer rebellion, or Padme Amidala's drag as self-empowerment. The relevance of drag spills out of the pages and screens of Star Wars and flows through the fandom itself through hobbies like cosplay.
It's like when they did that panel queering Tolkien.
Yeah, I mean, they'll queer literally anything.
Yeah. Like it's literally just critical theory, embellished on top of pop culture.
Yeah, maybe it's because like they think lightsabers are phallic symbols.
That it is. It's totally that.
Like, okay.
Berman's like, yeah, that's right.
Firstly, you're saying that Ventress is some kind of queer icon just because she's bald. Seems a little discriminatory to me.
Yeah.
And then Din Djarin is just the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
How is
And Padme is a married straight woman
That's not fair.
with children.
And
but how are
remember,
they? When did they do drag?
They didn't do
didn't.
drag.
Oh.
They embody core principles of drag. Now, I'd love to know the official list of all the core principles of drag and what they entail. I want to go to Star Wars Celebration and get in the Q&A line and really grill them on the facts.
So I was an English major in
Okay.
college, and I graduated with creative writing, and it's got to be that whole department. They absolutely everything they sexualize and they phallicize. Am I using the right word? Yeah. But like
maybe.
everything has to
Yeah.
do with something
I think
sexual.
It's bonerize.
Bonerize, yeah. They bonerize the whole
Right.
The
thing.
clinical term.
So I'm not surprised.
Right, because they're pseudo-intellectuals. I don't think that anyone on this panel specifically cares about Star Wars that much. They care about queering Star Wars. Maybe the rest of the people at the events are Star Wars fanatics, but then
They-
again, why are
they care about it the same as much as your average Instagram thought cares about whatever they're cosplaying.
Right.
It
The
is
video
like-
games.
It is how much can I show, or how can I get you to pay me based on the things you like,
and if
Yeah.
they don't think
so
if
that I
they
don't have
think
to do a
we're-
real job.
Yeah.
If they think we're lying, let's watch the clip from May. We never talked about this on the show, but we will watch the end of this clip from this.
Like, I love
from
Disney's
Reimagine
content.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Last, like something must have happened in the last. Like it was. I mean, like maybe it was that way in the past.
Who is this person?
This is okay. So it says I've obtained video from inside Disney's all hands meeting about Florida parental rights and education bill. So this is producer Latoya Ravenue says that her team has implemented a not at all so secret gay agenda and is regularly adding queerness to children's programming.
The showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and like our leadership over there has been so welcoming to like my like not at all secret gay agenda. And so like I feel like I felt like it was, I mean, like maybe it was that way in the past, but I guess like something must have happened in the last like they are turning it around, they're going hard, and then all that like momentum that I felt, like that sense of I don't have to be afraid to like let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background this, like I was just wherever
background.
I could, just basically adding queerness to like if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud of them. But like I just was like no one would stop me and no one was trying to stop me.
That's because if you do try to stop them, you will be canceled to the high heavens and called a phobe of some sort, and you'll be told that you're a bad person, and you will be sent to not just Twitter jail, but society will tell you that you're awful.
She says like a lot for somebody with a creative writing background.
Who working at Disney would try to stop her anyway?
That's what I'm saying.
Even
like,
if they aren't one of the most extreme activist types.
Yep.
They'll just allow themselves to be steamrolled by the activists in the organization, and it's not worth it for them to make a complaint about it if they're not ideologically opposed in any way to what's going on. Someone in the chat and a lot of people have pointed this out. Drag performance as a hobby, regardless of your opinions about it morally, it's an inherently sexual thing.
Yeah.
It and it always will be. It always has been, and it's primarily for adult gay males. Okay, so I don't know why this is controversial to point out because for some reason they just want to open the floodgates and allow this hobby to include absolutely anyone. It's not even inclusive of women, let alone of children. And that's, that's fine if they want to have this hobby of drag performance within their own communities, within their private circles, within gay clubs, for instance. And that's why it's always been subversive, right? Because it wasn't something that was open to everyone.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make it more intriguing to the people who enjoy it anyway? That it's not just welcome to everyone, that you don't put this in libraries or in,
It's in a sense,
Disney sponsored
it's
fan
like gay punk rock.
conventions. Yeah.
And like Michael Malice has said that before. He's like, you know, I have a lot of friends who are into this stuff and in the gay community. They're like, we don't want to be in the mainstream. Like, we're awesome because we're not. Like, from their perspective, we're awesome.
It's an essential component that it isn't mainstream that allows it to exist. You know,
and they act like it's like poker. You know what I mean? It's this thing like, yeah, you associate it with something else. Like, you would associate poker with gambling, but it's not always gambling. Sometimes
I mean, even poker, I wouldn't introduce children to.
Right, but like you would introduce them to Uno.
Right, yeah.
But I'm saying it's not that. It isn't.
Thank you.
Right.
It is inherent in its sexuality. Like, that is what it is.
We were talking about Velma a little bit yesterday. There was this article claiming it's become a punching bag for the internet because and then their criticism for it was the opposite of what the internet was saying. It doesn't focus enough on sexuality, right? And then another thing we were talking about earlier was Sam Smith's music video for I'm Not Here to Make Friends, where it's just hypersexual, imitating elements of hardcore Korn. And I see an article defending it that says... I see an article defending it that says, you know, any entertainment that simply acknowledges the existence of sexuality shouldn't be shielded children shouldn't be shielded from the acknowledgement that sexuality exists, which of course snowballs into Sam Smith walking around in nipple pasties getting peed on. Like, it's never as tame as they claim it is.
I mean, I just find it annoying that they think they can speak clinically and use that as a workaround for... You can use all the big words you want. It doesn't make it okay.
They're such grifters, too. And I see them pretending to be tough on Twitter about this. The Twitter gays always, you know, in their posts, they talk big, but in person, they're timid weaklings. Yeah. So this one quote tweet said, I've started to see disgusting rhetoric about this panel and my people here. Apparently, the bros got riled up. I'm going to let you know, if anyone at Star Wars Celebration tries to disrespect them in any way, there are way more of us there to defend them. Don't try it.
I'm going to start calling you Brother Mary.
Who is going to Star Wars Celebration that isn't on board with this? Because I'm picturing the most libtarded childless millennials that spend all of their disposable income on consumer goods related to their entertainment franchises.
I will say it wasn't that when I went or when I was there.
2019 was a different time.
Completely fair. I would agree that that's what it will be now. When I went before, there was a lot of people. It was actually kind of cool in the sense that it was like families. It really was. I didn't see I worked in the panel rooms, and I didn't see anything close to this. I saw, gaming. There was even ones about how to build real robots. Like, they're probably going to have that again. Like, here's where people who build real functioning robots. It was interesting. But everything is this now. Everything. And I can say that I can understand from, if you're part of a community that you feel is marginalized, that you'd say, education, that we are no different from this person is that is what you would do. That would be what you want to do. Let's educate people that we are not. I mean, I remember 10 years ago, Mormonism did that. Like, let's teach that we're not different. We're not weird.
Even
just a Mormon.
that is inherently different because...
Right, I know. But I was going to say they can't help themselves.
Right.
And this is a community that is defined by their inability to help themselves. So this is
the drag community is something you choose to be a part of. Right. It's not an immutable characteristic that you can be discriminated against for. But religious affiliation, I would say, as a matter of freedom of conscience, is still something immutable about you. So drag is just a hobby. It's not a religious devotion that you have.
To them it is. Yeah.
But until it gets to this point where they're literally threatening violence against anyone who shows disrespect at the con.
No. Right. My point was not that they're the same. My point is this is the difference, is that this is a community of people that are having, I'm trying to teach you how little I can help myself in this particular realm.
Right.
Well, the funny thing is
of course it would always come to this.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.